are from Group 3 and Group 4 would like to present about doing discourse analysis. And in this video, we will discuss 11 points related to doing discourse analysis. The first point is developing a discourse analysis project. There are a number of issues that need to be considered when planning a discourse analysis project. The first of these is the actual research question. The key to any good research project is a well-focused research question. And criteria for developing a discourse analysis project. These criteria include, first, a well-focused idea about spoken and written discourse that is phrased as a question or a set of closely related questions. Second, an understanding of how discourse analysis technique can be used to answer the research question. Third, an understanding of why your question about spoken or written discourse are important in wider context. Fourth, familiarity with and access to the location where your discourse analysis project will be carried out. Fifth, ability to get the discourse data that is needed for the research project. Sixth, the time it will be realistically take to carry out the discourse analysis project. Seventh, being comfortable with and competent in the ways of collecting the discourse data required by the project. And the last one is being competent in the method of analysis required for the project. The second point is choosing a research topic. So as Cameron points out, good ideas for research don't just spring from the researcher's imagination, but they are suggested by previous research. It is important then to read widely to see previous research has said about topics you are interested in, including what question can be asked and answered from discourse perspective. This reading will also give a view of what the current issues and debates are in the approach to discourse analysis you are interested in, as well as how other researchers have gone about answering the questions you are interested in from a discourse perspective. The third point is focusing a research topic. So they highlight how important it is for students to listen to more experienced researchers in their field and to be guided by their advice in the early stage of their research. So they suggest starting off by getting immersed in the literature and reading broadly and widely to find a number of potential research topics. This can be done by making heavy use of the library, as well as by reading the abstract of recent theses and dissertations, some of which are available on the World Wide Web. And once the reading has been done, it is useful to write a few lines on each topic and use this as the basis to talk to other people about this research. Often, one topic may emerge as the stronger contender from this conversation, not only because it is the most original or interesting, but also because it is the most doable in terms of access to data and resource facilities. Your expertise in the use of discourse analysis technique as well as supervision support.
So the fourth is turning the topic into research question. So the question presupposes an outcome before the study has been carried out, that is that there would be indeed differences between the two sets of writing. So it is important to strike a balance between the value of the questions and your ability to develop a discourse analysis project you are capable carrying out. That is a project that you have the background, expertise, resource, and access to data that are needed for the project. So next is kinds of discourse analysis projects. So the first one is replication of previous discourse studies. So one kind of the study to consider is a replication study. By Santos 1989, points out the finding of many studies are often not tested by further studies, which follows the same methodology and a similar data set, either at the same point in time or at the some stage later when the finding may be different. So replication study provides both the accumulation and consultation of knowledge over time. So they can confirm previous findings in the research literature. And one is using different discourse data but the same methodology. So a further way of using previous research is to carry out a study which uses different discourse data from previous study but the same methodology, so as to be able to compare and contrast your findings with those of the original study. So next is analysis existing data from a discourse analysis perspective. So by Cannell 1997, study a telephone conversation took already published, but she did not follow the conversation analysis procedure of transcribing the data. So her study does show the value of taking already existing data to see how discourse analytic techniques can help to further understand already published data. So next is analyzing discourse data from a different perspective. So it is another possibility to take data that has already been analyzed from one discourse perspective and analyze it from another. The fourth is considering the validity of previous claim. So a further possibility is to design a project which considers the validity of previous claim in the research. So next is focusing on analyzed genres. So another possibility is to focus on data that has not been analyzed before and describe characteristic features of the particular discourse. So this could, for example, be an analysis of one of the many new genres that are emerging through the use of new technologies, or maybe have not been analyzed before. And the last one is mixed method discourse study. So these combined research techniques can increase validity as well as to help gain greater insight into a topic under investigation. So for the example like OHC 2000, study of the speech act of thinking in Japanese is a further example of the discourse study which combines a number of different research techniques. Thank you.
Okay, so in this part, I will explain about two samples of discourse studies. The first sample discourse study is about a mixed method study. This first example of discourse study utilizes a mixed method approach. This means that the researcher combines different research methods to gain a comprehensive understanding of the subject of their study. This approach is a valuable approach because it combines the strengths of various research methods, providing a more complete picture of the phenomenon under investigation. This is related to the Spoken Discourse project, Silence in Japanese Students' Tutorial Interaction in English. So, this study was conducted by Nakane in 2003-2005. A researcher who examined the issue of silence among Japanese students in university tutorial interaction conducted in English. The researcher utilized a mixed method approach combining conversation analysis and ethnographic data to gain various perspectives on the subject. And the aim of the study, the researchers aim to understand communication challenges faced by Japanese students in English medium university classrooms and identify specific discourse patterns of their interactions that might contribute to these challenges. For the methodology, the researcher employed conversation analysis to study classroom interactions and conducted individual interviews, focus group discussions, and administered questionnaires. Additionally, she included 3 case studies using video and audio recordings, field notes, and artifacts. She used data from Japan for comparison, and her analysis included content analysis of interview data, coded video and audio materials, and a conversation analysis component that checked by other analysts. For the result of the study, this study revealed that silence was a significant issue for Japanese students in English medium classrooms, affecting both the students and their lecturers. The researcher found that misunderstanding in communication between Japanese student, English-speaking students, and also lecturers contribute to the student silence. For the next point related to documentary, the study's strength lies in its triangulation of multiple data sources. The researcher effectively combined various methods to gain insights into the complexities of the issue. And then for the further research, the researcher acknowledged that the study's limitations and proposed further research to explore the types and aspects of silence in greater detail. She also suggested that comparing students' interactions in different settings and investigating English-speaking students' experience in Japanese university classrooms. And then, for the second sample about discourse study, it is related to the combining discourse and non-discourse analysis perspectives. The second sample study here, it is an example of a research project that integrates both discourse analysis and non-discourse analysis perspectives. The researcher doesn't only rely on examining language and communication patterns, but also considers other factors of language that may impact the topic. And for the example of the study, it is the written discourse project, a contrastive analysis of letters to the editor in Chinese and English. So, this is conducted by Wang, a researcher who conducted study in 2002 and 2004, focused on comparing letters to the editor in English and Chinese, utilizing a contrastive analysis approach and combining contrastive rhetoric and systemic functional genre theory. And for the aim of the study, the researcher aimed to explore the rhetorical structures of letters to the editor in both languages, understand the application of systemic functional genre theory and contrastive rhetoric of these genres, and identify the reasons of similarities and differences between the two linguistic and cultural settings. And then for the methodology, the researcher analyzed 10 letters to the editor in both Chinese and English from widely read newspapers. He examined the schematic structures, rhetorical types, and logic-semantic relationships. He also read the literature on collectivism and individualism in Chinese and Western cultures to interpret these findings. And for the result of the study found both similarities and differences in the structure and content to letters of the editor. English letters tended to use evidence to support claims, while Chinese letters relied on appeals to values and needs. The researchers attribute these differences to cultural and social norms. He also noted the presence of editors' previews in Chinese letters and the greater use of consequential relationship reflecting cultural writing styles. For the commentary, the study effectively combined linguistic and non-linguistic analysis to understand not only what occurs when the same genres is written in different linguistic and cultural contexts, but also why these differences exist. For the further research, the researcher recommended expanding data collection to include a broader range of Chinese and English language newspapers and extending the analysis to different genres. Well, these two discourse studies demonstrate the diverse approaches and methodologies in discourse analysis, emphasizing the importance of considering multiple perspectives and contextual factors in understanding language use and communication patterns in different contexts and languages.
Okay, next I will explain about combining discourse and other research perspective. In combining perspective, researchers often use a combination of discourse analysis and other research perspective to address their research question, and this approach can yield valuable insight. For example, Nikkei and Wang's studies combine discourse analysis with other research methods to enhance their findings. It is important to understand the basis of the research perspective being combined, because different fields have different standards and criteria for evidence. Like conversation analysts prioritize data and consider insiders' views as intuition, while ethnographers may rely more on participants' perspective. And to combine perspective successfully, a clear rationale is needed, and researchers must understand each approach well and explain how they will handle potential tension between them. For example, a researcher should clearly explain why they are using discourse analysis alongside other methods and how this enhances their study. It is crucial to evaluate what each approach can contribute to the research and decide if combining them is justified. And evaluating the strength and limitation of discourse analysis and other research methods before combining them can lead to more comprehensive perspective. And next point is evaluating a discourse analysis project. There are 2 points. The first is reliability and second is validity. In reliability, there are 2 points also. The first is internal reliability and external reliability or replicability. In internal reliability, this refers to consistency of data collection, analysis, and interpretation within the study. It involves ensuring that the researchers is consistent in their methods. For example, in Wang's studies, he used the same analysis procedures for all texts in his research, ensuring internal reliability. For external reliability or replicability, focuses on whether another researchers can reproduce the study using the same methods and obtain similar results. For example, Wang provided detailed analysis and sample text in his study, making it possible for other researchers to replicate his work. And for the validity, also have 2 points: internal validity and external validity. Internal validity, it is about whether the research investigates what it claims to investigate and whether the conclusions are accurate with the specific context studied. For example, Wang was cautious about the limited scope of his observation and the need of caution when applying his findings to other text sets. And for the external validity, assesses whether the result can be generalized from the sample to broader population. In example, Wang provided information about the source and nature of his text, allowing readers to assess the transferability of his findings to other similar texts. By following these criteria, researchers can ensure the quality of their discourse analysis project and help readers understand the reliability and validity of their work, and it is essential for students to grasp these principles and as they engage in research and analysis in their academic journey. Okay, maybe that's all from us, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.